You know, on a beautiful day like today, there's nothing like being out on the water in your bass boat or your kayak or your giant submersible mechanical dolphin. Rob Innes and Dan PIAZZA are no different from most guys who like to tinker with boats. They just take their love to an extreme. Meet the dolphin boat. Rob and Dan have spent endless hours creating a boat that looks, acts, and talks like a dolphin.
I have no idea how much time we've got into these, but I probably could have had like a PhD and a law degree or something completely, a lot more financially lucrative.
Where did all this start?
The reason I got involved in building the dolphin craft in the first place was my daughter loves the dolphin, and she's always wanted to get out and interact with them. So she thought maybe this would be one way we could play with the dolphins, run with them.
I met up with Danny about 12 years ago, and he's a trained machinist, so, you know, I kind of hit him up to start building some parts. We started tinkering around. You know, I'd shape the hull and he'd build the mechanical parts, and we'd salvage engines out of jet skis.
Yeah, our very first prototype we built, it was a jet ski, and we put wings on it. It's a ride-on toy that you'd poke the wings down and go underwater, and you'd ride this thing underwater. Well, it didn't work the best.
A couple of hundred prototypes later, they realized if they added a propeller and more horsepower, they would have the perfect dolphin boat.
I mean, technically, it's a fully submersible watercraft. Now, it's not a submarine. It doesn't sink. You're flying it underwater, so you're offsetting buoyancy by using downwards-facing wings, and you're sucking it underwater. And the moment you either bring those up or lose power, it just comes shooting up, and that's how you get the big jumps. We've had it totally underwater, but it spends 95% of the time on the surface. You know, when you feel like doing some tricks, that's when you go underwater.
So the aerodynamics on this thing are absolutely amazing and gorgeous. I assume that you have studied aerodynamics.
No, I don't have a degree in aerodynamics, hydrodynamics. I have no dynamics whatsoever.
I have no engineering degree at all. I didn't go to school to build these things. I was a millwright machinist in a sawmill for years. I do the mechanical end of it, and Rob does the designing of the exterior of it.
Basically, you just build what looks cool and hope that's right.
Formal training or not, these guys are continuously doing a ton of homework to come up with the perfect aerodynamic design.
It's part fighter jet, part dolphin. You know, we obviously took a little bit of the dolphin, a little bit of the F-22 Raptor. It's got kind of a stealthy look to it. You spend a long time with the sketch pad, getting the shape you want, try and keep it nice and fluid.
Over the last 14 years, Dan and Rob have worked tirelessly to come up with the right dolphin engine.
But you've also got to accommodate all the stuff that you got to fit inside. I mean, this is a two-seater, and, you know, we wanted to keep a pretty flowing line on it.
So show me what you got in here for a motor, because obviously this isn't an outboard. Oh, that's nice.
This is a 215 horsepower Rotax engine, and they put these into jet skis. It has a supercharger that'll pump it up to 255 horsepower.
So, Dan, what is the purpose of having this much horsepower in this thing?
You know, you need a lot of horsepower to get this thing underwater. This is a cork. If you don't have a lot of horsepower, you're not going to drive this thing underwater.
So instead of lift in an airplane, you need downward pressure.
Absolutely.
And you need horsepower for that. All right, so show me how these fins work.
This causes the crafts to go up and down. This is how you point the nose up and down. Yeah, Rob's in there operating them right now.
So it is just like a plane?
Absolutely, yeah.
So now what do the front fins do?
You know, the front fins are used for doing our rolls. When you're on the surface and you're ready to do a roll, you snap the wings like that, and it causes you to do your rolls on top of the surface.
This vessel has everything a real dolphin has, including a big blowhole. And yes, I did say blowhole. How does that snorkel work? That's the thing that really amazes me.
That's where we get our air. This is how this engine breathes and how we breathe. You dive under the surface, and if you run about this level right here, you're good to go. But as soon as you go any deeper than this, we have a valve that shuts off the air supply. So you have a few more seconds, and you can dive down a little bit deeper, and then you have to bring it back up.
For Dan and Rob, what started as a passion project has turned into a full-time job with big plans for the future of their company. With big plans come big prices. Anywhere up to $60,000 a boat.
We're building these things for recreational market, but what we want to see eventually is the whole sport grow from this, where people bring up their own one, they get their own sponsors, they compete, just like Supercross or monster trucks, where you dive under obstacles and things and tricks, you know, kind of like freestyle watercrafts, but it'll get as extreme as the people who are willing to, you know, take the chances with their vessel.
For Dan and Rob, this is a major hobby, but there are two sides to every story. So, Diane, what is it like to actually have a husband who spends all of his time with a mechanical dolphin?
Well, it's interesting for one thing. You don't see too much of them when they're busy working like this.
They get pretty obsessed about this?
OCD would be a better term.
That's a great term, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, Sarah, is Rob crazy?
He's artistic.
Is he crazy?
He's very creative.
That's a better word than crazy. Coming up, I get to drive this crazy boat. Just like being in a washing machine. I'm here in Redding, California with Dan PIAZZA and Rob Innes. I've learned what goes into this tuna-free dolphin, and now we're ready to take the show on the road. But first, we need to fill it up, which always attracts a crowd.
Does it stand on its tail like flip fruit?
How deep do they go?
This one goes it can go about 5 feet deep, but you guys just kind of go. Yeah, you porpoise, kind of like a dolphin.
That's full of go.
It'll do 20 miles an hour underwater, though. It's scoots.
20 miles an hour
Oh, yeah.
underwater?
It scoots, man. It's like an underwater roller coaster. It's cool.
That's way cool.
And now I finally get to drive this baby. I hope we don't get caught in any tuna nets. There we go, we're in. In the words of Jackie Gleason, and away we go.
So, okay, explain to me what we're gonna do here, Rob.
Okay, now the controls. You have hand sticks here. At the same time as you go into a left turn, you want to roll very slightly to the left, right? So you're
So
going
I'm
to push
push on this and pull on this?
You're going to push that forward to roll to the left,
Okay.
and pull this back to roll to the right. When you're ready to go into a dive, you're going to push these all the way
All the way
forward.
forward.
And what that will do is that will make the nose point down. It's real simple when you get used to it, but it's a little frightening. Okay? Feeling
A
good?
little frightening. All right, so I got Dolphin Boat 101. Now we're gonna close the canopy and we're gonna take her for a little ride.
Go, Dave. Okay, and we're going to put it into gear. It's in reverse. Sorry, should have told you that. There we go, into forward. Okay.
Oh, this thing is awesome.
Isn't this cool?
This is really, really cool.
Right over that wave, you'll be right.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
It is just like being in a washing machine.
What I want you to do is just go in a straight line. I want you to roll it to the left and roll it to the right. Roll it to the left, roll it to the right.
Rob says the act of making the dolphin boat dive in and out of the water is the hardest part of driving. So, of course, I have to try it.
Now, a little turn right a little bit with your foot pedal.
Here we go, ready?
Not quite. Just need to get a little bit deeper.
Go.
Almost. Okay, one more try.
There you go, perfect, perfect. Now dive.
Got it. This has been absolutely amazing. To think that two guys right here in Redding, California have come up with such a brilliant and novel idea. And I can't see it going anywhere but up in popularity.